Ever since his very first LCS split, there's never been a doubt that Bjergsen was destined for greatness.
Oh, he's missing just about, but there's heads the girl coming in for Bjergsen, and Copenhagen Wolves are going to push through here and pick up their first victory.
He's a prodigy who has forged his own path through the world of League of Legends to become not only one of League's most decorated and celebrated players, but quite possibly the best Western player of all time. That path hasn't always been easy. There's been plenty of risk, defeat, and disappointment along the way, but champions like Bjergsen are forged by hardship. This is his story. Søren Bjergsen Bjerg was born on February 21st, 1996 in a small town in the Jutland region of Denmark. As a small, skinny child, he was often viciously bullied by his classmates, leading to isolation and depression.
In the beginning, I mostly got bullied for things like being skinny and playing a lot of video games. The bullying became very physical. I would come back with bruises and marks, and I would come back bleeding some days.
League became Bjergsen's fortress, and as his skills grew, he climbed the ranked ladder, which gained him significant attention from the high elo elite.
I started playing against these professional players, and I had seen them going to tournaments, and I started talking to some of them, and they would compliment me and be like, oh wait, really, you're 15, 16 years old? That's really impressive.
In an interesting twist of history, Bjergsen gained even more attention from the community when he was asked to substitute for Team Solomid's Andy Reginald Dane during their match versus TMC Gaming in the online Corsair Vengeance Cup. Then, in October of 2012, he was picked up by the Danish organization Copenhagen Wolves, set to make his big land debut at DreamHack Winter 2012.
He then joins Copenhagen Wolves, and I'm like, we're going to DreamHack, and you're coming with us. And he's like, no, I'm not going. There's no way you're backing down from this. Everything is sorted, everyone is waiting for you to come, and you're gonna enjoy it.
When the dust settled, the Wolves had made it to the semifinals before losing 2-0 to Counterlogic Gaming EU. A top 4 finish would earn them a shot at a spot in the first ever split of the EU LCS.
And as expected, good fight from Copenhagen Wolves, but COG will take the Nexus, take the series 2-0, and advance to play Fnatic in our grand final.
Good enough to get their shot at the LCS, but they would have to do it without their new mid laner. Due to an age restriction, Bjergsen was forced to sit at home as his team buckled down.
The Copenhagen Wolves had a 16-year-old AP mid player called Bjergsen who wasn't able to play with them in this tournament.
That was a blow to the team, for sure. They'd asked me if I could play for them. And as I don't have a team right now, I thought, why not?
Thankfully, Coutard stepping in to fill the void didn't prevent the Wolves from pulling it off, and they defeated Millennium 2-0 to qualify.
Doesn't matter, the Nexus is exposed, and it's going to be the Copenhagen Wolves making it into Season 3.
Especially Bjergsen didn't think the team expected to get there, and even before the game, they didn't expect that they would be able to win.
So he didn't think we would make it. He said if we're gonna go against Millennium, we would get our ass kicked. So Bjergsen, fuck you.
As the LCS season began, Bjergsen had to watch as his team was smashed for the first 2 weeks of the split, going 0-5. But then, before week 3, Bjergsen turned 17 and was allowed to play once again.
There was this team called Copenhagen Wolves at the time that was doing really badly. Maybe it was 0-8 or 0-9. As soon as Bjergsen entered this team, you can see the trajectory of that team from the middle of the split to the end of the split was staggering.
With Bjergsen leading the charge, the Wolves began to put some wins on the board. As the weeks went on, more and more fans became hyped for Bjergsen's obvious talent. However, for an isolated, anxious kid from Denmark, it was all a bit much to handle, and the change couldn't happen overnight. He often refused interviews and shied away from the spotlight. All while on the Rift, he continued to blow people away on picks such as Zed, Twisted Fate, and his signature Syndra. But over time, the loving fans, supportive staff, and his fellow players surrounding the EU LCS slowly broke Bjergsen out of his shell. The Wolves ultimately finished 5th overall in the spring of 2013 and were knocked out of the playoffs in the first round 2-1 by Evil Geniuses.
And the Copenhagen Wolves are just simply spectators right now, as are the rest of us, as Evil Geniuses take the base of the Copenhagen Wolves. It will be EG facing Fnatic in the semi-final.
After re-qualifying for the summer split with ease, Bjergsen and the rest of the Wolves were transferred to Ninjas in Pajamas, for whom they would play the summer split.
The teams that I have been in Copenhagen Wolves and NIP, I never really felt safe, or I didn't feel like the roster was really structured.
NIP suffered from roster issues and inconsistency that saw them once again finish 5th, then sent packing from the playoffs in the first round, this time 2-0 by Gambit.
Suspension, will it get used on Diamond? No, he just eats the pop anyway. He's got the Guardian Angel. Bullet time comes out. The Nexus story will go down. It's Gambit Gaming that will be facing Lemon Dogs in the semi-finals. That, of course, means the Ninjas in Pajamas are going to be facing Alternate tomorrow.
Heading into the off-season, the league community was abuzz over Bjergsen. It was clear to everyone he was a rare talent, a dominant 1v1 laner capable of single-handedly carrying games. Bjergsen then made one of the biggest gambles of his career. He moved to North America to join Team solomid.
I'm Bjergsen. I heard you guys need a new mid laner.
Who the fuck are you?
It was a massive risk. Not only would he be stepping into the spotlight of one of NA's most popular and historic teams, he would be tasked with replacing Reginald, the founder of the franchise. In essence, the once shy and anxious mid laner had to become the face of a franchise and lead the team into a new era.
But no change has been talked about more than TSM's signing of a former NIP star Bjergsen to take over the mid lane from Reginald. And while moving almost halfway around the world and adjusting to new teammates can have its problems, so far Bjergsen and TSM, things have been working out okay.
Making his TSM debut facing off against his old region at Battle of the Atlantic, Bjergsen dominated the Lemon Dogs to lead TSM to a 2-0 sweep of the EU representative.
A completely different start to this game, but the same result in the end as Team solomid took back the driver's seat after a very formidable spark start from Lemon Dogs, but it just wasn't enough.
2-0, TSM.
With Bjergsen at the helm, TSM surged to a 22-6 record in the 2014 spring split. However, his presence wasn't enough to push the team past their rival, Cloud9, who won the playoff title 3-0.
Cloud9 gonna end the series 3-0. They're gonna take down the Nexus, and they're the North American champions.
Although TSM had to settle for second place, Bjergsen's debut split on TSM was more than enough to earn him the admiration of the North American players and, of course, the fans.
That year was the first time that both Europe and the world heard who Bjergsen was as a player and what he was capable of.
And all of a sudden we were crushing everyone. Everyone was talking me up and hyping me up, and it really inflated my ego, so I just didn't take everyone's criticism as harshly as I should.
His stream exploded in popularity and Bjergsen continued to grow more open and confident.
Look at the Venta.
Boom!
No?
Yeah!
Oh.
The kid who ran away from interviews was no more. He had fully embraced his role as the new face of TSM. Sadly, the loss in the finals was a blow to Bjergsen. After watching his lane opponent Hai lead his team to victory, Bjergsen began to recognize he needed to level up his game.
Losing to him was a big oh, I beat this guy in a 1v1, but that doesn't matter because it's a team game, and he was able to lead his team to victory and I wasn't. So it was a big eye-opener for me.
He needed to become more than just a star player, but someone who could play a team game and spread his individual skill into other aspects of the game. Those lessons in mind, Bjergsen made good on his potential in the summer of 2014, helping TSM recapture the NA LCS title with a 3-2 win over Cloud9.
That's the game! TSM goes to full 5 and takes down Cloud9 to be the 2014 North American champions.
It was a monumental victory, not only returning TSM to their place atop the NA LCS, but cementing Bjergsen's status as an elite threat.
This week, there was one player who stood above the rest, and is our playoff MVP from TSM. It's Bjergsen.
With TSM's domestic win, the next step was for Bjergsen to prove his mettle on the international stage. At Worlds 2014, he got his chance.
Dragon suit. And
the rope forgot here.
From more. Oh, Bjergsen very low.
What a win! Blocks out the dark binding
instantly stopped. Let's see what's gonna happen. Bjergsen's the only guy here. Animation joining in.
With the ultimate, wins very low. Bjergsen's gonna find the ultimate kill. Well, turned around in the top lane. The polymorph was down. Dyrus was able to go full damage even after the wild growth was used through Opchi. And what a double kill in the bottom lane as well. Boy, what? Oh my god. Still going on the morning. He gets the sombrero to work on amazing, but it's one quick shot from Bjergsen. They are really heating things up.
With Bjergsen impressing every step of the way, TSM made it out of the groups before losing to Samsung White 3-1.
That's 4 members down. Bjergsen doing what he can to stay alive, but it's not going to be enough. White will take down Team solomid in the quarterfinals.
However, while TSM might have faced an early exit from the event, Bjergsen had gone toe-to-toe with some serious competition and shown he could compete. Next up was another international test at IEM San Jose. Many predicted an easy road to the finals for TSM despite new jungler Santorin joining the ranks. But things didn't exactly go according to plan.
Oh man, I'll say after Power People kills Bjergsen again.
Yeah, one more auto attack. Oh, the Q will finish him off, and Power of Evil. Meanwhile, Bjergsen taking a lot of damage. Will Power of Evil get the cooldowns back? Yes, he will. Finishes off Twisted Fate. Actually, and Power of Evil actually using his ultimate there. That's a good Howling Gale coming through. Kikis is going to turn around. Power of Evil comes back in, but he's exhausted. It's Dyrus that were their first target. They managed to get that kill. Power of Evil surviving off the other side. Kikis flashes in. There is Busy Chucky. Gets the 4-man ultimate as well. And now Bardix comes in. What more can they get here? TF once again into the back line. It's only Lost Boy left alive. He'll be closed down. Power of Evil should be able to finish this one off. And there it is. And it is an...
Well, we see Bjergsen in mid trying to play one of his safest champions and actually getting, as I said, rocked out by Power of Evil there.
Yeah, that is another thing to note. You know, even though you have Nunu, it's not immediately mid lane.
And is Bjergsen going down? The Ignite is ticking. He's already used a barrier and he does get first blooded here. Last take of Ignite from Power of Evil.
It was one of the few times that Bjergsen specifically was so brutally outplayed in the laning phase, one of the strongest parts of his game.
Just those 2 games against Power of Evil, man, they still put me on tilt to this day.
Just tons of skill coming out of Power of Evil. Had those insane solo kills, got the help he needed from the jungle, and I mean, skilled, smart too. I mean, he knows how to get fed fast. You just go to the Burger King, you know?
Thankfully, the beatdown didn't hold Bjergsen back. They roared into the 2015 spring split, firing on all cylinders.
High's content sitting on his turret. Oh, first blood coming out. That's going to be it. Santorin not even needed.
More time. Calitro's though, good. Woo, Bowers is the flash off the shot, but Calitro's still going though, forces the passive, but he's in turret range, he's gotta be careful. Bjergsen gets the kill, Les Boy's 1 hit away from dead, but Nocturne couldn't click on him.
As the best team in NA halfway through the split, TSM received an invite to the IEM World Championship in Katowice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship!
There, they made history.
One WE looking to try and get involved. They're going to go for Wild Turtle. They'll actually get him low, but he will flash away from that. Santorin picks up the Rampage. Mystic and Spirit both low on the backside as well. Mystic will drop here finally, and that's 4 men down almost instantly as they try for one last engage. The stun comes in. UJ will be popped, and that is the ace for Team solomid. And with 20 seconds left on the clock, they are going to push straight through. There's the surrender. Team solomid are the Intel Extreme Masters World Champions.
Team solomid were the first team from North America to win a major international competition, which a Korean team attended for 4 years. While their path was made significantly easier by the GE Tigers' stunning elimination at the hands of Team WE, TSM's victory at IEM is still a significant achievement.
That went surprisingly well.
TSM carried their momentum back home, closing out the regular season and first to once again secure the NA LCS title.
Over-engage, here we go. Oh, the over-engage indeed. Elimination on the outside gets bounced. Dyrus, he wants it. Dives in onto balls. The Sanguine Pool saves him just at the last second. The 1v1 to Bjergsen and High. The fight goes down, but High is alive, and Bjergsen dies to the turrets. Turtle now is the focus. Depth charge into anchor toss. They lock him down with the passive, but he is hopping around way too much on Callista. Turtle a double. Turtle a triple. Turtle a quadra. Could he be coming up with a penta? High stays on the fountain. The quadra kill once again to come up with Team solomid's pivotal win. Wood once again. The consecutive wins for Team Solomid. The Nexus falls, and Team Solomid are the 2015 North American League of Legends Championship Series Spring Split champions.
Bjergsen was named the NALCS Split MVP for the second time.
It is Bjergsen getting the Most Valuable Player award here for the Spring Split.
By this point, Bjergsen had won 2 domestic titles, 2 NALCS MVP awards, a significant international tournament, and was still considered by most to be the best mid laner, not only in NA, but the West.
Maple, don't think the death mark's got quite enough damage for the shuriken from the side. Really well played that by Bjergsen. Maybe a misplay from Maple's side as well.
Despite their dominant playoff performance, TSM was absolutely crushed at the first ever mid-season invitational, going 1-4 in the group stage.
I guess Wild Turtle backing off now as Coral jumps in there. Uh-oh, Corky in trouble, gets taken down, and now the Nexus finally focus. 27 kills in 25 minutes for EDG as they take the game over TSM. It's over.
Back in the LCS a few weeks later, things didn't go much better. While Bjergsen still led by example with impressive play, they faltered in the back half of the summer split. Fans largely pointed the finger towards Wild Turtle's lackluster performance, and it was clear TSM lacked in other areas as well. TSM limped into the playoffs in 5th. But in typical TSM style, when playoffs rolled around, the team came alive.
Right now, this has to just be deterring Team Solomid, but not at all. They actually put themselves in a bad spot, and Gravity goes down now, trying to deter Team Solomid for more. Dyrus gnars out at the perfect time. Once again, it's going to be an ace onto Gravity, and Team Solomid start to lock this one down 22 minutes in. Team Solomid running down the tracks. Dyrus, the front of the train throughout the playoffs, and Team Solomid are going to take down Gravity 3-1 in the quarterfinals.
As soon as he gets his cutlass.
Uh-oh.
Phoenix caught out.
Phoenix may go down in the fire here. That's going to be a lot of hits. Dominate, able to get a body slam in. They didn't expect this much pressure quick from the bot lane without TSM being able to answer. Now they've approached the fight. Dominate getting hit up. Lustboy looking to hit the perfect hook here. He gets it onto Dominate. Good patience. Now they're on to Expecial. Bjergsen just throwing out glitter everywhere. They're able to pick up 3. That's 1. Turtle looking to go around the Nexus, but they say focus. Get it down on the priority target. 50 gold going into Wild Turtle as he takes it down. And Team Solomid take the semifinal series to face Counter Logic Gaming as they take out Team Liquid.
TSM unseated Gravity, then smashed the first place Team Liquid 3-1. But even their playoff buff wasn't enough to help TSM pass Counter Logic Gaming, who won their first LCS title in a sweep.
Counter Logic Gaming fighting every season since there has been one, and now taking down Team Solomid at Madison Square Garden to be your 2015 Summer Split champions.
Even with CLG crowned as the new NALCS champs, TSM and Bjergsen headed to Worlds 2015 in an attempt to repeat their success from 2014.
But one of the biggest things with our team is that we fall apart when we're in the wrong lane allocations, and it takes us too long to figure out what to do when something feels uncomfortable. Realistically, if we just do well this week and we have one more week to scrim, and we just clear up all of the small mistakes, we can really well get out of groups. So let's just focus on one match at a time.
Bjergsen could do nothing as TSM was rolled out of the tournament with only a single win to their credit.
36 minutes in, LGD was able to rout Team Solomid in their composition, find their way to the Nexus, and take down TSM.
Getting knocked out really sucks, to be honest. I had really high expectations for our team, or at least expectations to get out of groups, because we managed to do that last year, and I don't want to play professionally for another year and feel like I can't accomplish the same thing, or somehow got worse, or we can't perform the same way as a team. So that was a big disappointment to me.
The loss of their NALCS title combined with the SmackDown at Worlds called for major changes in TSM.
Everything that's there, it's been done, and now it's time to open a new book. Right now my story ends here, but I have nothing but gratitude for you guys, and I wish the best of luck to my teammates in the future.
Dyrus retired in an emotional interview, while Wild Turtle, Santorin, and Lustboy all left the squad.
Regardless of all these roster changes and people retiring and not being in the team anymore, I'm still really excited to play for TSM next season, we are hopefully going to pick up new players that are really hungry, that want to learn.
First and foremost was Doublelift, who joined the team only hours after the conclusion of the World Championship in a dramatic reveal.
Hey, my name is Doublelift, and starting today, I'll be a part of TSM.
With Bjergsen's carry power backed up by Doublelifts, fans were already frothing at the mouth for TSM's future. Add to the mix Bjergsen's former Copenhagen Wolves teammate ssøren and the breakout star Hanser, and TSM was already looking stacked. The only question mark was the support role. With the team already full to bursting with mechanical talent, TSM needed an experienced leader. And so TSM brought in Yellowstar as the starting support, hoping his veteran status would help balance the needs of the team's star carries and give a definite voice to the team.
And the whole thought was that with Yellowstar coming in, I could kind of really focus on my individual play and kind of the communication around my role, and I didn't have to micromanage or kind of double check that everyone is doing their job all at the same time, because that's what he was known for.
TSM struggled out of the gates with inconsistent results throughout the front half of the split. The clashing egos of Bjergsen, Doublelift, and Yellowstar caused tension in the team, and it showed in the results.
It's almost like playing solo queue. I mean, I don't want to like bash, but our communication is really just at that like super basic level at the moment, where it's just like, what's next? What's next? What's next?
TSM slid all the way into 6th to close the split. But then it was playoff time, and poor season be damned, the buff was in order once again.
Yeah, but this could be it. A quarterfinal matchup that had Cloud9 winning the first game, Rush trying to prevent the sweep. TSM coming back strong though, 3 consistent games in a row. And a bloody, bloody 4th game that they may just take it on 23-6. 30 minutes into the game, Team solomid take the quarterfinal match against Cloud9.
Despite entering weak, TSM defeated Cloud9 and decimated Immortals before falling to CLG again, this time 3-2.
And throughout the entire series, I noticed that CLG just had a much cleaner macro game than TSM. Even the games that TSM won, it was usually through brute forcing team fights, and in CLG's games, it was usually split push, turret, pressure, and then sometimes they would team fight, just like in that last game, how they ended up closing it out. So CLG looked more diverse in the strategies that they were able to bring to the table, and their macro game was just cleaner.
While their playoff performance might have been better, the Yellowstar experiment was a failure. TSM decided to bring in rookie player Biofrost to round out the team.
His ability to lead macro discussion or just make calls in general is extremely limited. Like, understandably, he's a solo queue player, so he doesn't really understand the game at a high level.
Yellowstar's departure saw Bjergsen once again shouldering the shot-calling responsibilities vacated. He accepted the burden that comes with being both star player and team leader.
So I spend pretty much all the time I have in between the games that I'm playing, watching my own replays, trying to be really self-critical, and just looking at every little thing I do and seeing if it can be optimized.
TSM's only series loss for the entire 2016 summer split was a dramatic upset at the hands of Phoenix 1.
He's only got 3 minions. Oh my god, he's actually doing it! No, there's another minion wave coming in. He's popping the Ghost Blade. He's actually going for the end. Can TSM get back in time? I don't think they realize what's happening.
Rushing down right now.
He may have ended it.
Teleport being used.
It's too late. It's too late. It's gonna go down before the TP comes in.
Cancelled. Match gets the kill. And Nori's on the Nexus. I cannot believe it.
This could be it.
One. They're able to spoil TSM off the back of Nori. Another kill. But the Nexus falls. 12, 2, and 7. Phoenix 1 defeat TSM.
After 2 playoff losses at the hands of CLG, this time Bjergsen and TSM would not be denied another title. They crushed CLG 3-0 before smashing C9 3-1 in the finals.
As TSM cement themselves as the most dominant organization in North American League of Legends and win their 4th North American Championship.
An incredible moment for these guys. You can see just how much it means to them. Disappointment last year in Vegas, and now finally victory is there.
The winning moment felt really good. I think the best part about kind of winning is that to be able to win the finals, you always have to win as a team. And this was one of those moments where I felt like it wasn't up to me to carry. I didn't even feel like I played particularly well, but I felt like, you know, my team really carried me and kind of as a team, we won.
By the end of the split, Bjergsen had amassed 11 Player of the Game awards and was named the NA LCS MVP for the summer season for an astonishing 3rd time.
Bjergsen, this is actually your 3rd time winning the MVP award. No one else in North America has won it more than once. What does that mean to you?
Obviously, it means a lot. I think this year it means more than ever because NA has just grown stronger and stronger each split. And this season, I think NA has the strongest individual players that they've ever had. So I honestly didn't expect to win this award today and be here, so I'm very happy.
Another NA LCS title meant another trip to Worlds for TSM and Bjergsen. Sadly, it was a heartbreaker as they failed to make it out of groups with a final game loss to Royal Never Give Up.
Goes down, Royal Never Give Up, look to set their sights on the Nexus. Uzi gets himself the 4th. The Nexus is going down, and Team solomid, their hopes, their dreams, they're done. Royal advance to Chicago.
While domestic success and IEM glory had been his, Bjergsen had once again failed to go deep at a World Championship.
The NALCS and Western fans, Europe and North America joined behind TSM.
Hey, we all did.
Unfortunately, they didn't show up in groups.
Yeah, we all did. I mean, TSM this year was such a powerhouse, such a classy team. You could see Bjergsen, Svenskeren to the very end were trying to battle their way out of that one. You hate to see him go, really.
For all the effort he had put into becoming the player and the leader TSM had required, it was a crushing result.
Every single time where I had to be clutch, I failed. Every time. Every clutch play, I failed. So fucking sad.
Things weren't going to get any easier though. Doublelift opted to take some time off and Wild Turtle returned to the team, applying yet more pressure to Bjergsen to carry his team. Thankfully, another turn of the calendar saw TSM once again return to the top of the NA pile, finishing the spring split in 1st place and defeating P1 and C9 3-2 in closer series to claim the title.
TSM are going to end it. There's an ace way. Here we go. It's the game.
TSM fight tooth and nail to defend the North, but once again, NALCS champions Cloud9. What a...
For the 2nd time, Team solomid had earned the right to represent NA at the mid-season invitational, but they failed to make an impact on the international stage yet again.
With the playful trickster, looking for the urchin strike, gonna get Svenskeren, MMD's on a killing spree, Betty flashes forward, the inhibitor they don't even care about, they're looking for the kills!
And the Flash Wolves chase down Turtle for the ace and the next spot!
Team solomid are destroyed! Flash Wolves ace them! Take the Nexus turrets, take the Nexus, and Flash Wolves advance to the semifinals!
It does really suck being NA's representative and not being able to do well and seeing comments like, oh, CLG did so much better, or oh man, C9 would have done so much better in their place, but you know, we ultimately beat out those teams because we were the better team.
Back in North America, it was business as usual for Team solomid. With Doublelift back at AD carry and challenging for the top of the table, TSM defended North American honor at the first Rift Rivals, smashing Unicorns of Love 3-0 in the Grand Finals.
The Nexus turrets are falling! First is the victim, Baron-empowered minions, they've got to deal with Samex, the death sentence might just be it! Yes it is! Doublelift secures the ace as the Nexus turrets slowly take it down!
Hill is now up, they've got another challenger to approach, but it's just the support!
Yeah, there's too many minions, there's too much damage, and on this day, your Rift rival champions, TSM declare NA greater than EU!
The win banished some of the bad taste left from the still recent MSI. Today, Bjergsen is still a powerhouse who has done whatever it took to become a champion. But he's not quite done setting records. Just the other day, he became the first NA LCS mid laner to reach 1,000 career kills.
Very low on the backside is Acadian. He goes down before Baron does. TSM secures the objective. Bjergsen getting one of these kills. Bjergsen getting a 2nd kill. 1,000 kills for Bjergsen. And they get the Baron. 4 members of Fox are down. TSM running strong. That's the ace from Doublelift.
Oh man, 1,009 kills. Does it feel as great as your first one?
I mean, it feels pretty good. I actually I realized I got over 1,000 kills actually a couple months ago if you counted my kills in Europe when I played in the EU LCS, but reaching this milestone just in NA LCS exclusively obviously feels really good.
While he's yet to have the deep run at Worlds, he's sure come a heck of a long way from the kid who ran away from interviews and used the league to escape bullying. Like we said, from the very first split, there was no doubt Bjergsen was destined for greatness, and he's earned it every step of the way.